Hello. You all know me, but it has been a while. My name is Meaghan Ranz. I was part of the internship program at Pure Hope 4 years ago when I was attending undergraduate school at John Brown University in Siloam Springs, Arkansas, studying family and human services, or social work. Since then, I've graduated from JBU with my BS in Family and Human Services. After graduation, I began a 2-year fellowship at Milestone Leadership, where I work full-time for the Leadership Development Company and pursue my MBA with an emphasis in organizational behavior. It is for this reason that I'm here speaking with you today. I am in an organizational effectiveness course where I was asked to help an organization increase its effectiveness over the 8-week period. You already know these quotes, as you have helped write them and you live them out each day in what you do at Pure Hope. However, as we align with one another throughout this presentation, I'd like to read them aloud. It is your mission as a company to provide world-class resources that will inspire and equip followers of Christ to flourish in this sexually exploitative age and lead their families and communities to do the same. The way that you do this is from campuses to coffee shops, churches to cinema. You are teaching and gathering people to cultivate a world free of sexual exploitation. So, as I was talking with many of you about what the main problems you're facing as an organization are, these are the two that came out through my conversations with you. You told me that Pure Hope has a clear view of why you do what you do, and a clear mission of how you do that. However, there is not a clear vision of where you are going in the next 3 to 5 years. Additionally, the communication pattern between the two office locations, one in Cincinnati and one in Dallas, and between the board of directors is not necessarily effective. So this is the problem that we are going to be defining and hoping to make more effective throughout the rest of this presentation and the recommendations at the end. This is something you are also very familiar with. The Pure Loop creates alignment and direction for this organization. I will put myself with you in the loop as I have carried it with me since my internship. When we begin with prayer, we start by cultivating intimacy with God and abiding in relationship with Him. From there, understanding follows. Our awareness grows as we gain wisdom. Then we resolve to choose the option that serves Jesus. Finally, we're compelled to engage and devote our time and energy in service and love of others. As we look together at how to increase the organizational effectiveness at Pure Hope through a clearer vision, I would like us to look through this lens. Increasing your organizational effectiveness aligns with this loop, because this loop aligns with who you are personally and organizationally. We will spend the next several minutes going through 4 phases, as you can see that I put into the loop on the screen. Context, assess, design, and implement. We will, with context, understand the full picture of where Pure Hope is as an organization. Then we will assess and understand more about the problem as a whole. We'll then design and choose a path of organizational change. Finally, we will implement and engage fully with the process of organizational effectiveness. This is similar to the Pure Loop that you are very familiar with, so I invite you to engage in this process as well. So this is an edit of an organizational design model presented in an article by Williams and Ranz. Because Pure Hope is not going through an organizational redesign, as the article describes, I edited their model to work for organizational effectiveness and process improvement. As I explained in the previous slide, these 4 phases of organizational effectiveness are how Pure Hope will approach the opportunity of creating a 3 to 5 year vision and implementing a more effective communication and decision-making plan or model. The next few slides will zoom in on each phase in more detail. Then I'll present models of improved flow recommendations, a stakeholder analysis, and a communication plan. The first phase includes gaining strategic context about Pure Hope. As you told me in our conversations, you do not have an official organizational strategy. However, you do have a clear mission and purpose, as mentioned a few slides ago. I've been continually impressed by your ability as an organization to keep clarity about why and how you do what you do. Something that lacks is a vision and strategy that assists you in making intentional decisions. In phase 2 of this process, we assess the need for improvement. Again, your organization continues to grow. I heard you talk about the Heart of Man film, growth in your internship program, conferences, work in Uganda, and much more. However, you also talked about the lack of clarity you feel moving forward, knowing how to make decisions and where you're headed as an organization. A few objectives of the project are to create a clear vision that can be used for decision making and develop a communication plan. The criteria you can use to ensure these objectives are met is that once a vision is created, each large project or opportunity Pure Hope completes fits within the mission, vision, and values of the company. In order to do this successfully, your team will need to make space and time to invest in developing a vision and assessing your mission. Phase 3 of the process is designing and evaluating the change. This is where we build a plan that will help you meet your objectives of increased effectiveness. The process analysis will be detailed in the current process visual on the next slide. There will be changes for each of your roles in response to the new process. With each change, it will be important to keep in mind the mission and purpose of Pure Hope. This is the current process as you've described it to me in terms of how a project at Pure Hope goes from beginning to end. First, there's a board meeting without much integration of new ideas during the meeting. Then a new idea is brought to the internal team separately in Dallas or Cincinnati. This is followed by a meeting in either Dallas or Cincinnati without formal online documentation. Then eventually, if the new idea gains traction, there's a video call to talk more about it with the whole team. If traction continues, there is more idea generation when it is then brought back to the board for budget conversations. Changes to the project are talked about at this time, and it can go back and forth a bit. This is then followed by implementation and execution of the project. So this is what's currently happening at Pure Hope. So the final phase of this process of organizational effectiveness and organizational improvement and effectiveness is the process of implementing the new changes. This is what I'll pass off to you. I would highly recommend that you invest in bringing in some sort of third-party development company that would help assess your mission and values with your team and board of directors, as well as develop a 3 to 5 year vision and strategic objectives. The company I work for, Milestone Leadership, actually has a nonprofit scholarship program that I would love to talk to you more about if you're interested. Then it will be important to build a communication plan of how you will share the most important pieces of this project and increase support. Tracking results can be done through online portals or even shared Excel files, since you already use Google Drive as a team. Finally, it will be vital for the team to evaluate and adjust through initial monthly meetings and then quarterly check-ins. The next slide shows the recommended improved flow process. I included the Pure Loop on this slide because I wanted to make sure everyone continues to remember why Pure Hope is here. This is an incredible organization, and these recommendations will simply help your organization become that much more effective as you grow. I would recommend, through my learning in my organizational effectiveness course and other research, that after you have a third party help you develop your vision, that you also build a mission, vision, and values rubric that you can run each project or opportunity through before you say yes. This will help you keep aligned, especially at the beginning. Additionally, I would create an online form that the board of directors can submit edits through after you have applied the rubric. Finally, allow yourselves time to adjust, implement, and then evaluate to continuously improve. So again, the current flow that you talked to me about has been turned into this improved flow based on research, and this is what I'm recommending that you move forward with. So this is a simple visual that takes what we've talked about in the 4 phases and puts them in a visual format that can help keep you focused during the change. I'm going to flip past this slide, but you can always come back and look. This is a good way to help communicate this to your teams and board of directors about why and how this change is taking place. This slide is a reminder of who your key stakeholders are throughout the process. The names on this slide are people who deeply care about your organization and need to be brought along in this change initiative at every level. So stakeholders include your internal team, which is who I'm talking to right now. So just reminding each other to keep updated and sharing information throughout the change. Then your board of directors, your advisory committees in those 4 locations, and then also your donors. So all of these people care deeply about what Pure Hope is doing and want to be updated on the changes that are occurring. This information should be an encouragement to you. Pure Hope is changing not because there's a large problem. Instead, you are taking a risk to grow because you have had great opportunity. In fact, when I ran this initiative through the risk forecast calendar, Pure Hope scored a 32 out of 40 for readiness, which means at the place where your organization is, there's great opportunity to grow through a change initiative such as this one. You can never communicate too much, especially through a major change in an organization. It should be a great reminder of how to communicate from beginning to end. So we'll go through the who, the how, the when, and then the context or frame of reference for a communication plan that you would build out. So who? The stakeholders, every level of your team, the board of directors, and then really documenting who knows what and who needs to know what. And then how? So you communicate through detailed plans and then making sure there's individual clarity on contribution of roles. So each of you knowing exactly what's expected of you throughout the process. And then having the humility to adjust if you need to. So when should you communicate? You should communicate now and then throughout the entire change. The constant feedback loop is what will keep you on your toes and be successful. And then context. So this is your frame of reference. I would encourage you to continue doing what you do best as an organization. Be kind, candid, excellent, and bearers of Christ to one another throughout this process. The final piece of content is your training plan and reinforcement strategy. So we've talked about your training plan quite a bit. As for reinforcement, remember that it will be difficult but important, but a really important step, not only to say yes to vision matching projects, but to say no to projects that do not match the vision. This is where the true change will be made and reinforced. In those moments when an opportunity comes up to the team and you run it through your mission, vision, and values rubric, and it actually doesn't line up and you have to say no to that opportunity. It's in those places that this change of a 3 to 5 year vision that structures your organization, it's in those places that that's reinforced and that you can really change as an organization. So I want to leave you with this quote by M.F. Ryan. Each of us has the opportunity to change and grow until our very last breath. Happy creating. And I encourage you, Pure Hope team, to continue creating with one another, continue learning and growing, and never stop asking for help and living out your mission as an organization. Thanks.